99% of people are gonna make this mistake even if they watch this video. 99% of people will never succeed in crypto. And in order to become part of the 1% that does succeed, you need to know the two broad categories that the 99% fall into. The first category is those who don't know enough. And this is quite obvious, right? You've not had enough education. You don't know what you need to know. The second is those who know too much. How could that be? Now, for those who don't know enough, this can fall into four broad categories. The first one is fundamental analysis. You don't know how to do fundamental analysis. You don't know how to find a winning project. You just take whichever project your friend's talking about or an influencer and you just ape into that project. You need to learn how to do fundamental analysis. You need to understand what is it that a project is aiming to achieve. Is it proof of work versus proof of stake? What is their roadmap? What are they trying to achieve? Are they getting any adoption? Are people using that specific project or blockchain? This is all falling into the notion of fundamental analysis. And this is something you could pick up and learn quite easily. The second key category is technical analysis. This is where you don't know how to study the chart. You don't know how to enter a position, how to exit a position. You don't know how to use an indicator such as price action or volume or an EMA ribbon. And therefore you know that you have a good project, but you just don't know how to buy into it and when to sell. The third category is tokenomics. So you understand fundamental analysis, you understand technical analysis, but there are so many wannabe investors who never study tokenomics. They don't know what it means to have fully diluted market cap. They don't understand how a burn schedule could affect their investment. They don't understand why circulating supply is important. This is a major knowledge gap, and this is something you could improve on rapidly. And the last category is investment principles. So you may know your fundamental analysis, you may know your technical analysis, but what is your investment principles? What type of investor are you? Are you a momentum investor? Are you a swing trader? Are you a day trader? Do you scout? Do you even know what type of investor you want to be? Or are you just buying cryptos randomly and sporadically and then hoping to sell them for a profit? Okay, so the second category of people who are going to find success in crypto are those who know too much. Now you're probably thinking, how can I know too much crypto? Well, there is something called analysis paralysis, and this is when you know too much that you're increasing the level of complexity to a level where you just find yourself procrastinating. And this is a trap many people in fields where they're trying to achieve success run into. Let's use the example of a football player who studies the theory of football, but never actually goes and plays. Yes, he's read a textbook which says, move to the left when a player does this, and move to the right when a player does that. But if you've never started playing a game of football, how are you going to know how your emotions react? How are you going to know what happens when your heart rate increases, when there's actually skin in the game? And this is the same for investing and trading. There are so many people who are binge watching content, they're learning, they're reading books, and it's like trying to read a book about sales, right? Sales is another great field where you can just sit there and just read books about sales until you negotiate with someone, until you actually go through a sales call. You're never going to pick up those skills. Okay, so the second category of people who aren't going to make it in the 1% of success in crypto is those who know too much. Yes, you can know too much about a specific field. In order to illustrate this, let's take Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's say Cristiano Ronaldo learned everything he needed to know about football from a textbook. Would he be as successful as he is? Doing one trade or one successful or even bad investment is going to teach you much more than watching hours and hours of content. So it's important that you learn a little bit of knowledge, apply it, learn a little bit more, apply it. So with fundamental analysis, you're doing your research, you know everything about a project, you've watched every single video. But the reality is now, you've got analysis paralysis. You've seen too many candies in the sweet shop, and the problem now is, you're just not picking one. You're going, I like the flavor of that candy, but I like the texture of that one. And guess what? You never invest in anything. And if you never invest in anything, I can promise you one thing. You're not going to make any profit, right? So you've got to invest in stuff in order to make mistakes and to succeed. And it's that piece that a lot of people who have too much knowledge struggle with. They overcomplicate things. The extra knowledge they've gone and achieved actually hinders their progress. So let's say, for example, you've researched proof of work to death. You've studied hours and hours learning about proof of work, and now you find a failing. You're like, oh, there's this weakness in proof of work. It's not energy efficient. And for that reason, you now start going down a rabbit hole, which has created a lot more complexity for you. But yes, it's increased your knowledge. But now with this new knowledge, it's making it hard for you to invest in a certain cryptocurrency. Now you're questioning yourself of whether you should buy Bitcoin when your rational mind knows it's a good investment. This is why sometimes limited knowledge applied effectively can outweigh a lot of knowledge not applied appropriately at all. And it's the same for technical analysis. If I had $1 for every single TA expert I've ever met, guys, I would be rich through that, let alone crypto. There are so many people out there who just stack up a bunch of indicators on their charts. They've got 100 different indicators and they think having more indicators is correlated to success. Here's the thing, when I was working in the investment bank, the best trader on the trading floor who would make millions in minutes, he used 2 indicators: price action and volume. That was it. That's all he used, right? But what made him successful? He applied those 2 much more than other people did. If you've got 10, 20 indicators on your chart, the chance you've actually applied them is minimal, right? You've just got them there because you've learned it from theory. How many have you actually applied? How many are actually battle tested? How many of them have actually delivered you profit that you can go, oh, when I use these indicators, it worked. I made 10% profit, 20% profit, 30% profit. You get that confidence, you get that reinforcement loop back through your brain to say something I learned was applied and it worked. Now here's the deeper thing. This took me a while to recognize about myself when I was younger, is actually using the knowledge acquisition process as a procrastination method. Yes, this might be a hard truth for you to accept, but maybe you're binge watching content just to stop yourself from actually taking action, just to stop yourself from actually taking a trade. You're using a chart like this, full of indicators, piled to the brim, to stop yourself from actually taking a trade. Have you ever thought about that? So you need to introspect and look at yourself and say, hey, am I trying to acquire knowledge to actually apply it? Or am I just acquiring knowledge to procrastinate me from applying it? And same for tokenomics. You're sitting there, obsessing over the numbers, looking at circulating supply, looking at fully diluted values, understanding the burn schedule. You just sat there obsessing over the numbers. You need to learn how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. In crypto, there is something known as a blockchain trilemma, right? The balance, the triangle between scalability, decentralization, and security. There is no perfect ideal, and nor is there in business or well-being or any endeavor in this world. You need to understand how to stack the cards in your favor, whilst understanding there's always going to be uncertainty. There's always going to be an element that you don't feel comfortable. If I sat here today and told you that I was 100% comfortable with every single investment in my portfolio, I'd be lying to you. Even the most stable of assets, Bitcoin, has an underlying risk. Even the most stable US dollar that you may consider as risk-free money is obviously not risk-free. Chasing profits in any endeavor, it requires taking risks. And you, the person that knows too much, that getting stuck with analysis paralysis, needs to start getting comfortable. And the most practical way to start getting comfortable with that is start taking risks. Put the textbooks away, put the YouTube videos down, and place your first trade. I like to say use your lunch money. Take some meaningless amount of money to you and start trading with it. Start investing with it. See what you learn. See how your emotions react. So what about investment principles? If I sat down and asked you, what type of crypto investor or trader are you? How would you answer it? The fact is, the majority of you watching this right now have not identified your specialism. You don't know what type of trader you are. You wake up on a Monday, you're a swing trader. On a Tuesday, you're a value investor. On Wednesday, you're an NFT trader, day trader, swing trader, scalp trader. Like, you don't have a repeatable process that you specialize in. It's like me going to a chef and asking him or her, what do you specialize in? And they say, on a Monday, I specialize in Chinese food. On a Tuesday, Indian food. And Wednesday, Italian. Would you really want to go and eat at that chef's restaurant? It's clear that they don't specialize in anything, and therefore they end up becoming a jack of all trades and a master of none. You've heard this saying before, and yet we're still making this same mistake, and 99% of people are gonna make this mistake even if they watch this video. So what can you do different? You need to write down what you specialize in, and the thing you're gonna specialize in is what you're actually applying. You might see success in working on a moving average crossover strategy, which you apply on the daily chart. That is now your strategy. You are the best person at trading, not investing, trading the moving average crossover strategy on the daily chart. Great. Let's say you're an investor. Maybe you become the specialist at investing and finding long-term picks for NFTs. But at least you've now got your strategy. You've got your area of competence, because you can't just be everything. But the reality is everybody today is just saying, I'm good at everything. I'm a crypto investor. I'm a crypto trader. What type? Here's the thing. Nothing I'm sharing with you in this video have I learned from a textbook. This is all learned from real world application. I used to read all these books behind me, thinking I was getting ahead, listening to Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, right? For hours and hours on end, trying to learn. But then it hit me. I spoke to my mentor, and my mentor gave me the hard truth I needed to hear. I was procrastinating through learning because I didn't want to apply. And he said it very specifically to me at the time. He said, go and set up a business. Even if that business makes $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, it's real. It's in the real world. It's not a textbook. So for some of the categories, you're going to fall in the first section where you just don't know enough. You've got knowledge gaps. But here's the thing. That's fantastic because you can identify it and it's really easy to fix, right? Go plug in the knowledge gaps, watch some videos, read some books and fill in those knowledge gaps. But if you fall into the second category, when you've already got enough knowledge and you're not applying it, today is your message, your call, the sign you were looking for to put the textbook down, to close the YouTube browser and go and apply it. I promise you, you're going to learn so much more taking a $10 trade, a $20 trade, making your first major crypto investment, setting up your first DCA, than you're going to learn from a textbook or watching a YouTube video. So it's quite simple really. To get into the top 1%, you need to balance growth of knowledge with making sure you don't overcomplicate. And if you can master both, making sure you add to your knowledge arsenal as and when you need it, whilst applying it with the least amount of complexity, you're going to get into that top 1%. And then ultimately, you want to take action on it. Speaking of knowledge gaps, if you've identified that you've got a knowledge gap in how to take profits in crypto, you're going to love this video here, and I'll see you in the next one.